So what I want to talk about next is strategy, because at the end of the day, senior management must make sure that everybody in the organization understands the strategy and also that the strategy is differentiated and innovative. What I'm going to show you now is a simple tool in which you can actually communicate strategy all on one page, as well as make sure that it is very innovative and it's differentiated. In fact, it will automatically tell you, the process will automatically tell you when it's not differentiated, and it will signal you to keep going. So it'll work as a communication device, communicating strategy to large numbers of people all on one page and making sure it's innovative and differentiated. What does that mean? Well, it boils down to strategy formulation and communication boils down to answering 4 questions. What, who, how, and why. What do we want to be? Who are our stakeholders? What do we want to do for each of them? How do we want to get there? And why will we succeed? To explain this one-page strategy template, let me use an example of a company that I worked for 12 years, American Express. What was happening at American Express through the 80s and early 90s is that from their peak of success, they started to get less successful, and largely because the company became arrogant. At one time, they started thinking that customers need us, we don't need customers, and they kept raising their fees. But the strategy always was, we'll charge you a high premium fee for high service. But what happened by the time they reached the early 90s was they were charging the high fees, but the service part was forgotten. Then the board brought in Harvey Golub as the new CEO, who actually reinvented the company without actually changing the strategy. He kept the same strategy but communicated in a powerful way and kind of aligned the internal structures and systems to it and made the company very, very successful. Let's look at what he did. Between 1977 and 1993, the American Express stock was hovering between $4 and $8. Harvey Golub joins as CEO in 1993 and remains CEO until 2000. During his time, the stock goes from $7.75 to about $60. That's a stock appreciation of over 87% over 7 years. Return on equity of 18 to 20% per annum, and as I said, no change in strategy. All he did was recommunicate it. Let's look at this graphically. Okay, this is the time that Harvey is CEO. Look at the stock price before that, and when Harvey comes, that's what happens in the next 7 years. How did he do that? He answered those 4 questions: what, who, how, and why. Basically, let's look at the first one. What? What do we want to be? And he said, we want to be the world's most respected service brand. And what else do we want to be? We want to generate return on equity of 18 to 20% every year. There was no lack of understanding on anybody's mind as to what this company wants to be. I still remember Harvey going all around the world, doing town hall meetings and explaining to employees what every word in that sentence means. To be means that we will never achieve it. We'll always keep raising the bar. What does the word respect mean? How did we lose it, and how are we going to earn it back? What does the word service mean? How have we forgotten the essence of the American Express service, and how are we going to bring it back? We all understood. 91,000 employees understood exactly what that meant. Who is important to us? And eventually it was customers, and within customers they chose high net worth wealthy individuals, shareholders, and employees. Those are the 3 most important stakeholders. Now let's move on to how and why. And to answer the how and why questions of strategy, the team must get together and list key factors of the current business. What is the conventional factors that are focused on by the current or conventional model in the industry? Based on that, we will draw literally a picture of the conventional strategy model. Then we'll think hard about what we might do differently in order to do better than competition and draw our future strategy model. How does that work? Well, the first step is to list the key factors that make up the business. So in a credit card business, what are some of the high-level factors? Well, the first one is fees. Are we going to charge low fees or high fees? So both sides of this chart, you'll find the same list. The first one says low fees. We're going to see whether low fees are important to American Express or not important to American Express. Next is revolving credit. Most credit card companies make money when you don't pay your balance in full, And revolving credit, it becomes a main tenet of strategy. Cards in force is the main metric of the credit card industry until today. Spend per card, acceptability. So you get the picture. Those are the factors that make up the credit card business. Once you've listed the factors, now we're going to draw the model of the conventional way of doing business in credit cards. How do Visa, Master, and everybody else play against these factors? After collecting data, after brainstorming, after analyzing, they came up with a picture that looks like this. Well, low fees are very important to Visa and Master. Revolving credit is the only way they make money, so that's very important to Visa and Master. Revolving credit, revenue sharing is extremely important because many parties make money on the same transaction. Cards in force is the main metric. Spend per card, it's okay if you spend less on the card, but you must spend it on Visa. That's the idea. Acceptability has to be really, really important. Customer experience, not that important because it's a plastic, it's a commodity, it's a convenience, it's not a lifestyle item. So with this picture, isn't it absolutely clear how Visa, Master, Discover, and everybody else, how do they play against these conventional factors? Now, with this lay of the land, American Express asks itself the question in the early 90s, how should we play? And how should we be different? And again, after their analysis, after customer research and all that, they came up with a picture that looks like this. Well, low fees is not important to us because we are a premium pricing company and we are going to charge a premium price. Revenue sharing, not important for us. We are going to do all parts of the transaction ourselves. As a side note, at that time, no other banks were issuing American Express. Only American Express was issuing American Express, so they were processing everything by themselves. Revolving credit, well, no, not important for us because we are essentially a charge card. If somebody wants to revolve, we'll let them, but we really want to be a charge card company. Our main revenue source is going to be fees. Cards in force is important to us, but not as important as spend per card because our value proposition is that our card members are wealthy. So they are going to spend more at your shop. And because of that, they learned that affluent people don't shop in middle-class neighborhoods. They shop in high-scale neighborhoods. So they were okay with a little less acceptability as long as the high-end shops and the high-end establishments accepted. If the corner grocery store did not accept American Express, that was a choice that they made. And finally, they made customer experience the main part of their strategy, that if you use American Express, you're going to get a very, very superior customer experience. So you can see already that they've answered the 4 questions. And is their strategy differentiated from the market? Well, the position and the direction of the arrows of American Express compared to competition tells us that clearly is. If the arrows were going in the same direction as Visa and Master, you would immediately get a signal in the process that your strategy is muddled, it is not innovative enough, go back to the drawing board, right? Now, at this stage, they're asking themselves some more questions. They say, what needs of the cardholder are yet unfulfilled? What needs are likely to emerge in the future? And what should we do differently to be even more successful? When they did further research, they asked themselves these questions, and finally they answered them like this. Well, what do rich people want to do? They want to show their wealth. So they created a whole new element in what was considered a commodity, and that was prestige. They came up with the gold card, the platinum card with concierge service, and the black card. And what was supposed to be a commodity business became a prestige business. And they could charge even more for that. And finally, they spent tens of millions of dollars educating all the employees, training all employees on what the essence of carrying the American Express brand means and how to give the kind of service promise. And you see that very clearly now. They have core differentiators that put them apart from all their competitors. It's not only an easy to understand strategy, it's also a very differentiated and innovative strategy. So there you have it. We've answered the 4 questions all on one page, and notice there's still some real estate left here. Now, if you're like me, you like to understand strategy by way of a picture, which is what I've just described. Some people like to understand strategy by words and sentences. Well, let's use that real estate. And what you have here at the bottom of the page is the same strategy story that the T chart tells you in words and sentences. Basically, we are a premium pricing strategy. We use our own network, so we don't share revenue, and so on and so forth. Those 7 bullet points basically tell you what the chart is doing. What we've done here is killed 2 birds with 1 stone. A, we've communicated strategy to, at that time, 91,000 employees in a simple and easy to understand but powerful way. Everybody understands what it is, and everybody understands how differentiated it is. Secondly, we've made sure that we are indeed differentiated by, as I said earlier, if the arrows were all going in the same direction, you would know that you have work to do. So you've not only got a great communication device, you've got a device which allows people to come together, brainstorm, research, put their heads together, and come up with a very differentiated and innovative strategy. You know, a lot of our clients use this template and this process. They will come together, senior management teams, with us for 2 or 3 days, and we walk them through this process, and they do the work. And it's amazing how a simple tool like this can create clarity within the management team and then equip them on creating that clarity for the rest of their organization. Thank you.